Now, I'm a big advocate of steps. There are very few people in the world that can decide to make a change and boom, like that, it's done. I have to say, yeah, I'm a nerd. I'm pretty close to one of those people. If I know the right thing to do, I will do it. And the reason is because I have learned what kind of a person I am. So what do I mean by that? Well, there are two types of people in terms of behaviors when it comes to making changes, okay? You've got your towards people, and this is how a towards person would talk. I can't wait till I can fit into those jeans. I can't wait till so-and-so sees the weight I've lost. I really like looking in the mirror. You speak towards the goal. And so you say, I can't wait to see my abs. It can be anything, but that's towards behavior. That sounds like you. Remember that, because this is a very powerful learning experience for you when you learn to recognize it. Okay, on the other hand, here's Sandra. I'm an away from person. Sandra was over 200 pounds. I was just malnourished is all I was. I was eating typical standard American diet, and I didn't look healthy. And also I had cholesterol issues. I had insulin resistant issues. I had gestational diabetes with my first pregnancy, in which I gained a bazillion pounds. I think it was over 70 pounds. It was just a really bad time in my life. Everything was broken. You have to take change one step at a time. I said, boy, I have to learn how to feed her. So I guess that's great for me, because even though I've attempted 6,250 diets, probably close to that, from the time I was 12 until the time I was 24, none of that stuff worked. So, and I'm a geek, I'm a nerd. So if I educate myself, I become obsessed. And here I am over 30 years later, probably the biggest geek you will ever meet. Maybe not. There's a few out there that might top my geekiness, but it's good for you. So that made me realize that maybe steps were better. So take steps. If the first and only step and goal you make is to prepare your meals every day, woohoo, that's awesome, okay? Don't try to do it all and then crash and burn, because you're setting yourself up to fail. Set yourself up for success and just pick one thing. Like I said, if you do all those things, you will get to the goal. If it's not spending money, don't go in the store. There's just things you have to go, no, you can't have that. We have to say no to ourselves. We have to really look at the long-term aspects and keep our eye on the prize. I wanted to be a vegetarian, and that didn't work out, and that's not a conversation for this webinar. But start with the habits and build everything around the habits. The food part can come later. You can start thinking about maybe pulling out, anything in a box. If it's pertaining to smoking, and I was a smoker as well till I was about 35 years old, so it's been about 20 years since I quit. But with smoking, one of the triggers for me was the telephone. I could hold back on having a cigarette at just about any time of day, with the exception of after eating and on the telephone. So when the telephone rang, I had to do something different. See, I knew the strategy would work because I'd already used it to lose weight. And I want to tell you that I quit smoking and I never gained a pound. Never. And that's because I didn't eat in place of smoking. I chewed a couple pencil tips, but I ate a lot of Tootsie Pops, but I quit. So eventually I had to actually quit the habit of the Tootsie Pops. That was even worse than the cigarettes. But needless to say, with a little self-hypnosis, which we're going to get into, success can come. One habit for good, then you can change another.